Alright, since my last one was fail here, because I forgot to plug in my mic right, or whatever, but alright, I'm just going to show you my engine I'm starting to make, and here's my image manager, which basically I have a map of strings to images, which basically means that I have strings that represent images. So a string is just a bunch of characters for you people who don't know, and basically I'll show you how I use it. Is what I do is it's a singleton class, and I let you get the reference of it or a pointer to it, and is what happens is your add image, which you usually don't use. I probably should make it private so people don't get tempted to use it, but I'm probably going to be the only one who uses it anyway. So as what happens is it creates an image that loads it from the file, and it creates a mask color, it creates a mask split color, and then it inserts list. And then it returns, because it can read false to the load. And then it returns an image, and it makes an iterator, and it checks to see if it found, it checks to find the file name and if it doesn't find it, so if it finds it, which means if it before the end, it turns the second one, which is the image. And if it adds the image to the file name, so it calls this and adds it right here and loads a new image and puts a list, it finds it and returns it. So that way, to use it, is all you have to do is basically, where's my, here we go. So you use your image manager and you get image method and the name, which is a string that goes to my tile.image. And I have a Lua manager, which basically uses Lua bind, which is the easiest thing ever if you ever want to use it. So manager, same exact thing as my image manager. Entity manager, just a vector of entities and updates them and stuff. And I have a level class. And my level, where's my level dot? I do all the allocation by myself because it's faster and it's pretty easy for the level. You just create a pointer to a pointer to a pointer here. Sounds kind of funny, right? And is what you'll do then is you will make an allocate tiles function, or you can hard code it in, doesn't matter. And I have variables that hold the layers and stuff, and I just equal so that when I'm deleting them, it's just easier. And then you allocate them like this with the for loops, and then to load them, I have variables that hold temporary inputs. And then this is just, it's not end header, which is my header on my map kind of thing. It finds the link with the height and tile sheet to you, and then it allocates the tiles. And then, not end a file, so after that's done, I get the layer, and I put it in layers, and then I get the X, and then once it's end, and then I did kind of steal this from Lucica May, just so I give her credit for this. I use a line format where it go. I might show you it some. No, I probably won't. But it's basically a bunch of lines with word across. And then I take the tiles and I set the image to the name and the position to a float of X and Y because it's SFML floats. And I set the clip, which is the frame of the tile or whatever the clip, to my frame offset, which is taken by that. And then put this plugging. And then to render it, I render through all the tiles in render, and eventually what I usually do for this is I usually have a thing that checks to see if it's within the screen's coordinates, but I was too lazy right now and I really don't feel like doing it. And then I'll show you real quick. I have my entity class, which is basically a abstract class, but it does have these set variables that are done for you and these get variables. Basically, and then they all hold their managers, which I probably don't need a Lua manager, but I might. And it's basically a base class, so I can just inherit from it. And then I have my engine, which is right here, and I did comment this one. I usually don't comment stuff because it kind of looks bad, I think. But basically, it doesn't need to be overridden in case I ever want to, because I'm going to be in a different file because I'm just going to make a library of this. I made them virtual, and I also I should make a virtual destructor. I will. And yeah, and I made it protected too, just in case. Even though I probably could just call these functions from within my new class, whatever. And then I made a state thing, and I'll show you how this works. Basically, all it does is it takes the current state and basically calls its handle events inside of the handle events using the mention this, and then you see it does that, and then it basically runs it, and then you got the change state, which cleans it up, pops it, and pushes the new state and calls the init function. Or you got the pop state, cleans it up and pops it, and then you got the push, which pushes it and calls the initialization. And then I'll show you the state class, because it takes a state, and this is just an abstract class again. And basically, it's a singleton class, kind of. It's not really singleton class until you inherit from it, but it is. And it just has all the functions you'll need. And then I have a test state here, and this test state you'll see it's kind of messy, but it's just a test. I'll delete this in a second. And it's just to make sure everything's working. I load a map in, and I get the events, and I render the window. And if this goes well, I might make some tutorials on like SFML if you guys really want me to. Yeah, and I'll show you how it runs real quickly. Get anything? Okay. All right, scoot this over here. Yeah, sorry, my cam studio is like really annoying, but I guess I'll try it because people kind of like didn't like my camera work. So, you know, hopefully this microphone works pretty well too. I hope so. And you can see there, and basically this is just a map that sucks. But basically it's saying, yay, my state is updating, because I wanted to make sure my state was actually running. Because, well, before I wasn't actually a map on the screen. And it just calls init's called, and then and file, remember? See, I wrote that? Yeah. Oh, and I like my command prompt in the back white with black letter because it's a lot nicer. Alright, that was the end of this. This is the end of the video once I find Cam Studio. There we go.